Alright, Josh here, and welcome to another Pokemon Sword and Shield discussion video. Now, today we're going to be talking about all this new stuff, all the new information from this week, mainly stuff from E3, and I'll also be giving my thoughts on the, obviously, controversial Dexit, as people are calling it, which is, that's so funny. That made me laugh so much when I saw that. Dexit. Genius! On so many levels, brilliant. So yeah, I'm going to talk about that first. Obviously, it's a weird one. So yeah, basically, the short version is that any Pokemon that doesn't appear in the Galar regional dex you can't get it in game. You can't send it to the game, it will just not be in the game, which is crazy. Like my instant reaction was, what? Because on my Ultra Sun and Moon, I have some Pokemon that I brought over from Black and White, from X and Y. Actually, I have a shiny Groudon that I brought over from Soul Silver. And I've just kept not passing it through games. I originally sent it to X and Y, to Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, to Sun and Moon. Now it's in my Ultra Sun and Moon. Great, but now I won't be able to send it to my Switch. And I have a shiny Dragonite from Black and White 2 as well. You had to beat it was like a battle tree type thing or something, or something like that. And the prize was a shiny Dratini, and I got that. I've got that shiny Dragonite all the way from Black and White 2, and now I won't be able to take those to the new games. It's like, what? It just didn't make any sense to me at first, because they've just released this. Well, I mean, they're going to release this Pokemon Home thing, transfer all your Pokemon to Pokemon Home, and then they're all in one safe place, and you can swap them between games. And it's like, oh, great. Except from, no, you can keep them all there, but they're trapped there forever. You can't send them to the new Switch game. So you potentially can't use some of your favorite Pokemon. It's like, ugh, that's a bit odd. And it's like, it's the other it's just so weird, because I don't know how to organize it in positives and negatives. Let's organize it in negatives first. Let's go through the negatives. Another thing, Pokemon. What's the slogan? What's the Pokemon's? Wait, I'm messing with my settings here. I don't know which way. Is it this way? Yeah. What's the Pokemon slogan? Gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch some of them. It's we don't even know. I mean, we don't know how many Pokemon are going to be in the decks, but gotta catch some of them, I guess, is the new slogan. So it's it's kind of annoying in that way. In terms of competitive as well, it does restrict things a little bit. I imagine VGC 20 is going to be, regional decks only anyway. But then what are they going to do? They can't do national decks afterwards. In Sun and Moon, we had regional decks for Sun and Moon, and then when Ultra Sun and Moon came out, that was a different game, I suppose. Unless he brought out another game, that could be something. But even in Sun and Moon, you could transfer your old Pokemon over. I was thinking as well for all these draft leagues and stuff. How are they're not going to be able to do it in game unless they stick to original decks, which is quite odd. I saw one excuse was they said that they hadn't they hadn't got enough people to develop the sprites or something. That's not a good excuse. I mean, they can hire anybody to get those sprites done. There's loads of amazing probably animators or designers or whoever does that sort of thing that can do that. That's a bit silly, but yeah, it's weird restricting it that much. Like I say, in terms of competitive, it's going to be very restricted unless they bring out another game the year after or something, because like I say, if you have a regional dex season, you only use Pokemon from the regional dex, okay, great. What are you going to do the season after? You can't have national. If you can't have national decks, it's going to be allow legends, but if you're only allowed the 2 or 3 legends that are in this game, it doesn't. It's not going to be. It's going to be very stale if that's the case. I've seen loads of people say "Oh, great, they've cut Landorus. No more Landorus, yay, no more." But the thing is, the smaller the pool of Pokemon, the more standard things are going to become. I'm calling it now that Arcanine's going to be everywhere in VGC for a start. I mean, it's a great Intimidator, and it was in VGC 17. And then Incineroar came around, but if Incineroar's cut again, which it probably will be, it's going to be Arcanine again, isn't it? So you can't really say, yay, X Pokemon's not going to be in it anymore. Now no one will use it, because you take a standard Pokemon away that a lot of people use, and it gets replaced by another standard Pokemon that everyone's going to use. That's why it annoys when people say, like, oh, this Pokemon's so common, it's everybody uses that. Everybody uses Xerneas and stuff, but, you know, take away Xerneas, take away Landorus or whatever in some of the old formats, and take away Mega Kangaskhan, but it'll just be replaced by something else. Something else will be popular in its stead, and people will complain about that. But, like, if you make the deck smaller, it's going to be even more centralized, isn't it? Like, I mean, VGC 17 was, you know, it was quite a decent mix of stuff, but VGC 18, there was loads of stuff. And, yeah, I suppose it limits creativity in a way, having a smaller Pokedex. But, so, those are kind of like the negatives, but I get why they did it, like, because it's getting to a point where there's, like, what, I think they said, like, including, like, different forms, there's over 1,000 Pokemon. That's a lot. Obviously, that's so much, and what, they're just going to keep going, like, obviously, they're going to keep going, and it's going to get to a point where it's just ridiculous, a ridiculous amount, and they all have to be in the game somehow, or if they don't feature, well, I suppose if you don't feature in the game, you can pass them over. Yeah, I suppose there is that. It will probably affect egg moves as well. A lot of egg moves will become unavailable, which is kind of annoying, I guess. And yeah, just not be able to get legends and stuff. It's just the fact that you can't collect them all. Like, your collection's like incomplete in a way. You can't pass on your old legendaries just to use for fun, yeah, even in the game. It's kind of that's a bit of an odd decision. It's the gotta catch them all thing that gets me. It's like, gotta catch some of them now. It's really weird, very weird. But a lot of people like it. A lot of people don't like it. Everyone's arguing about it. There's no point in arguing about it. Like, it is what it is. You can't change it. I think they did say they could potentially, or like, it's being considered whether to, you know, do updates, do patches where they can add Pokemon in later. But I'm not sure. I don't know. I really don't know. It's really strange, for sure. So yeah, I guess I probably said more negatives than positives there, but like, I'm not too bothered by it. It's not like, oh, it's ruined the game for me now. Some people are literally like that, but God, that's silly. I mean, it's not ruined the game. As the only thing I'm bothered about, as long as they have a big and varied enough regional decks that VGC doesn't become stale, and there's still a lot of options for teams and strategies, and, you know, weather teams, and a good variety of intimidators and rage powder users and whatever. As long as it's varied enough to still be creative, I'll be happy. But yeah, I get why people are upset about not being able to use some of their favorite Pokemon just for fun, even. And yeah, like, even though I can like I was saying at the beginning, like, I've got those old shinies and stuff from old games. Maybe like I mentioned, Dragonite. I have a shiny Dragonite from Black and White 2. Maybe Dragonite will be in the Galar Pokedex, and I can swap it over. But if not, it's just going to be sat in some online make-believe thing. Like, it's going to be sat there doing nothing, hidden away, which is not as nice as I can kind of access it and play. I can use it anytime. Do you know what I mean? I won't be able to do that anymore. So I get why people are upset about it, but like, for me, as long as it doesn't restrict the competitive creativity, like, as long as it's like a decent sized regional dex, and a lot of the new Pokemon do a lot of cool stuff, then I think we should be fine. So that's kind of my thoughts. I guess I hope that wasn't too much of a mess of thoughts. I literally just winged it. I should have probably made notes and have some sort of structure, but I just started talking. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through some of the other stuff, because we got some new Pokemon, and I think we got some, like, as you can see, actually, some of the moves are updated. Actually, I didn't see this. Okay, so we know Grookey gets Taunt. That's pretty good. I like Taunt on a grass type. Taunt, Woodhammer, that's good. I mean, Woodhammer's super strong. Branch Poke, what's that? Knock off that Branch Poke. That's a new move for sure, unless I've just missed it. We got Ember, Flame Charge, Double Edge. Oh, Double Edge is interesting. I know, but it's just gonna have Blaze the entire time, so it's not that good actually. Sobble gets Liquidation, Soak, Water Pulse. I feel like Sobble and its variants would be more like special attackers, so I don't think the Liquidation would be too good. Although you never know. You don't know, do you? Wooloo gets Cotton Guard. I like Cotton Guard. Gets Double Edge, Takedown. Gossifleur. These two get Leaf Storm and Hyper Voice. Because I was kind of expecting this one, the Eldegoss, to be kind of like I was saying about Rage Powder because of the speed drop thing. But you know, Leaf Storm, Hyper Voice, those are quite high-powered offensive moves. Maybe it's more an offensive grass type. Interesting. I guess we'll have to see. Shockingly, Bite. Yeah, no surprise there. Oh yeah. Okay, what does Corviknight get? Brave Bird, Swagger, Drill Peck, Steel Wing. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, actually. Yeah, I'm looking forward to using it. I hope this Corviknight has like good stats. I really hope it has good stats. And then we did get 2 new Pokemon. Oh god, the second one. Anyway, the first one. I mean, it's just funny that it's like based on a Corgi. I mean, I suppose they kind of had to. That's really funny. The Queen will be pleased. But it's looking like, it's looking like a physical attack. Like Play Rough, Spark, Crunch, Wild Charge. Is that going to be like, if its evolution is going to be Fairy Electric, physical Fairy Electric type with Wild Charge, Play Rough. That's pretty good. Like, why? I'm still so mad that they didn't give Tapu Koko and Tapu Bulu actually Play Rough. Why not? What were they thinking not giving them Play Rough? It literally makes 0 sense why they didn't do that. But, they did for some God knows what reason. Yamper. I mean, its design's alright. It's a pretty bog standard, basic Pokemon, I guess. And then this one, well, I mean, who signed off on this? What is it? It looks so silly. I mean, Dark Fairy's kind of nice. Assurance Sucker Punch, this gets Play Rough as well. I mean, I imagine this is a basic first stage, whatever. Yeah, it looks like a basic Pokemon. It's got to evolve, but I mean, the design, it looks really silly. I really don't like it at all. It looks so bad. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking on that one. What else can we go over? Oh yeah, the list of updated Pokemon, actually. This is a list of all the Pokemon in-game. You can just scroll through. Just want to see what else has been added, because these were all there the other day. I've not actually checked since, I think, Brave. I mean, I was talking about it before. I mean, I was saying about the Pokédex being varied. I mean, by the looks of it, it's pretty varied. I'm so glad Raichu's still there. Thank God I can still use Raichu. And Hydreigon. Braviary, good at anti-intimidate. Lucario, Tyranitar, had to be there. You can still do Belly Drum, Trick Room stuff with Snorlax, which is good. Serena's great. I really like the addition of Serena. With the weather setters are all still there. Trick Room, Mons, Gengar's always been. I can't see any more that weren't there the other day. I think most is the same. Milotic again, anti-intimidate, great Pokemon. I'll probably be using Milotic loads. Probably using Milotic Arcanine a lot. I'm telling you, I can call that now. I'll definitely be using those two. And Serena, that's a good, nice little Firewater Grass pair, isn't it? Drifblim. Maybe do some shenanigans with that, which I'll explain in a minute. Togekiss, Follow Me, potentially. Ludicolo for rain stuff, even though I'm not happy about that. I can't stand Ludicolo. A Mew, weirdly enough, you can get Mew in game. That's kind of an interesting choice of legendary. I don't know if they're chucking some other random old legendaries. I think you have to use it via Pokey something or other, some sort of tech. I did forget to mention actually that Megas and Z moves are just gone. They're just completely out the game. That's interesting. I mean, obviously they released Megas in X and Y, and you could still, at the end of Sun and Moon, you got access to the Mega Ring and the Mega Stones. So it's interesting. Or was that at the end of Ultra Sun and Moon? Could you still get them in Sun and Moon? I actually can't remember. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could. It's just interesting they've kind of cut them all together. But this is the thing. I'm even though I'm kind of because I love megas. Z-moves, like, I don't mind. Like, I'm kind of like neutral on Z-moves. Like, I like them. I know some people like really don't like them, and some people really don't like megas. But I really like megas. Megas are ace. I wish there was more megas. I'd be happy if they just kept releasing more megas every year and just did that forever. I'd be super happy with that. They're so good. Just like 15 or so every game. I'd be happy with that. But I get why they've cut both out, because it would have been that thing. I've talked about it before, like that, you know, in God knows how many years your team's going to be 2 restricted, a Z-move user, a Mega, a Dynamax Pokemon, and then something. Do you know, like the game after it's just going to get ridiculous to the point where there's so many of these different like game mechanics that you won't even be able to use them all on your team eventually. So the fact that they just like cut 2 old ones out and kind of clean slated it, I kind of get it. They were probably going to have to do that at some point anyway, so no time like the present, I guess. So the list of mons, I can't really see too many. Golisopod's an interesting one. They've Clefairy being there is nice as well. You know, the follow me friend guard is always really good for setup. Although, well, Mimikyu being there is quite interesting. I didn't spot that. Mimikyu was good. But it won't have his Z-move anymore. Goodra's a good one as well. I always like using Goodra. And Gardevoir's good as well. Gardevoir could be really good, actually. Because there's not many... I've not seen too many fairies. Like, Like, let's face it, all the fairies that are popular really now are the Tapus and Xerneas, I guess. So if you take those away, I guess, you got Sylveon, Gardevoir, Togekiss, and, like... What other would you really use? You could use Slurpuff, but I mean that potentially that Yamper being like an electric fairy could be quite interesting if it's like decent. So yeah, pretty interesting. Oh yeah, this is crazy. So in the wild area, how do I remember this? If it's raining, so the weather obviously can change and obviously affects the battlefield. But if it's if there's a thunderstorm with lightning and rain, it gives both rain and electric terrain. That's crazy. So thunder is absolutely busted in that terrain. Like, that's insane. I don't know if you'll be able to create that in a battle. Probably not. I think that's just an in-game thing. But obviously, thunder would be absolutely busted in that 100% accurate and boosted by electric terrain. That's just silly. I mean, it's quite a cool little like thing, but yeah, that's busted. We've got a new gym leader as well. Just kind of like, I don't really have too many opinions on these gym leaders. They're just like, I don't know, they're just gym leaders. Yeah, they're cool, sound great. Dreadnought and Eldegoss, cool. And yeah, the last thing, obviously, this is like quite interesting. Is what the max moves do. Still, nobody knows what max guard does. I don't know if anybody tried using it or anything. But we've got some more of the names. Well, we know what we had. Max Strike last time. Max Steel Spike is a steel one. Boosts the user's defense. Oh, boosts defense. That's interesting because this lowers speed. This boosts defense. Max Starfall. Oh, that sounds good. Starfall. I like that. I like that word. This is important. Activates the Mystic Terrain. So now the Tapus are gone, you can max move to activate terrains and stuff, which is really interesting. It's really going to change the way you play the game, like very, very differently. I mean, like Z moves, I guess, changed it, but I suppose like Z moves plus the Tapus changed the game quite a lot. This is gonna like mix it up again. Max Rockfall, again, that activates the Sandstorm, so a weather setting one. Max Overgrowth, Max Lightning, the electric and grass electric terrain, grassy terrain. Max Knuckle, and we don't know what that does. So Max Geyser, the water one, activates rain. Max Flare activates the sunlight. Max Darkness, this one lowers the target's special defense. That's pretty interesting. Max Airstream, that boosts the user's speed. That's a good one. That could be really good on that, like Corviknight or something, depending on its stats. That's pretty cool. I guess the fighting one does some sort of boosts attack or lowers attack or something as the rest. We can safely say that the psychic one sets off psychic terrain. I'd be unbelievably surprised if it didn't. And I think we can safely presume that the ice one activates the hail. Again, I'd be super surprised if it didn't. So, like, in terms of, like, competitive, obviously you could max, like, if you don't have a... Oh, yeah, I never thought about this, but, like, say you wanted to use... I'm just going to use Ludicolo as the example, because that's the only Swift swimmer I could think of that I saw in that dex quickly. Oh, no, there's Seismitoad as well, but we use Ludicolo. So, like, if you want to use Ludicolo, but you don't want to use Pelipper to set the rain, you could use, like, Dynamax Milotic, use Max Geyser, set the rain for Ludicolo. That could be interesting. Or the same with any weather. And with the terrain as well, you could still use, like, the seeds if you still get if that item's still available. You could still use those seeds on, like, Drifblim. You just have to set the terrain. It's not automatically set. So maybe it's not as maybe they're not as viable, but it could be a pretty cool option. Well, I'm glad that, like, weather wars and terrain wars are back, but they're definitely in a different way, because you have to. They're not, you know. I mean, they can be automatic, I guess, with some Pokemon, but you can set them manually as well. And, like, you don't really see... At the moment, you don't see... I don't think anybody sets the... I can't remember the last... I don't think I've ever seen anyone set a terrain manually. Or I can't remember the last time someone used, like, Sandstorm or Sunny Day to set the... I mean, Sunny Day was kind of maybe fairly popular in... every now and again, and Rain Dance, but... Especially in Sun Series, actually. Rain Dance was quite popular, actually, wasn't it? Rain Dance and Sunny Day were fairly popular. Okay, so I take that back. But it's it's gonna be like manually setting weather, whereas at the moment, you know, we're used to swapping Tapus in to change terrains, and we're used to swapping Groudon and Kyogre in to change the weather. I mean, obviously you'll still be able to Pelipper and Ninetales, I think, was one of the Pokemon there, and Abomasnow, Tyrannosaurus as well. But you know, these moves kind of make it really interesting. So yeah. Like I say, it's just going to be interesting to see what happens. And yes, this will probably be the last Sword and Shield video I'll be making for a while. If there's any more information, I probably won't be able to talk about it for a bit, because I am leaving in 5 days now. 5 days until my move, and I've got lots of packing to do. I've done about half-ish, but there's still a lot to do. I finished work today, though, which was super satisfying. And yeah, I'm still looking forward to these games. I know obviously a lot of people are disappointed with the Pokédex cut, and a lot of people are really happy. I'm kind of like 50-50. I'm happy as long as it doesn't affect the game too much. One thing I don't think I mentioned, but Ditto has to be in the Dex. That's the only other thing. Like, if Ditto is not in the Dex, then like what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Unless you take out breeding as well. That'd be a very odd decision, though. I don't think they'd do that. But if they did, that would be annoying, I think, actually, more than anything. It'd probably take even longer to get Pokemon. But we don't know. We'll have to see. Anyway, that about concludes my thoughts on all the new stuff. Also, actually, I've not mentioned, I did get some channel artwork done, if you've not seen. On our channel page, we've got a nice new logo, which is a billion times better than the flipping crappy paint one I did ages ago. And got a nice little cartoon version of myself as well, which is quite funny. I really like the artwork. I think I'm super happy with the job, and the guy's done amazing. And yeah, it just makes the channel look a lot better, I think. A bit more professional, I guess. And yeah, let me know what you guys' thoughts on all this stuff is, especially your thoughts on the max moves and your thoughts on the Dex cut. Yeah, I'd like to hear what you guys think about that, because it is a lot of people are very one way or the other, and yeah, it's pretty crazy. Definitely one of the craziest things they've ever done, I would say, or probably one of the most controversial things they've ever done, I guess. Anyway, with that, cheers for watching, take it easy, and I'll see you all in a bit.